Nice. Uh, Time to get your hands on some big gold balls. Sugar, spice, everything nice. Ho! What can I say except fake tattoo? Can you just copy and paste a whole movie? All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live. Welcome to Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, your host for this show. And boy, am I happy to be here with you guys. And I'm also happy to be here with the finest showrunner in the history of internet-based live show production. And that is the Landon Felter. Landon, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. And I'm sorry, everyone, but I do make mistakes. I am not perfect.
Yeah, he's only human, I think. I've never checked the DNA evidence. We've got Jennifer Johnson and Eric Johnson. I wonder if they're related in the chat. Let's go indeed. And yes, you do know me, Eric. We've got this weird little bromance going on. Hopefully your wife hasn't figured out yet. Anyway, yes, Landon is on the computer tickling the ivories. No, it's just cheap plastic. But anyway, Landon, what is the nerdiest thing you have done this week?
The nerdiest thing I have done this week, I'm actually starting to blank because once again, it's been just pounding away at schoolwork, just trying to get all that done. The end is coming. The end is nigh for me and college. And boy, howdy, is it all catching up to me?
I think saying boy howdy in a sentence seriously might have been the nerdiest thing you've done, at least since you walked into this studio. But that's all okay. Yeah, the nerdiest thing I've done this week, I've started rewatching Community.
Oh.
And I am like, A, I love that show. And B, I forget how good it is in the lapses in between restarting Community. If you've not watched Community in a few years, get on Peacock and start watching it again. And you will be blown away, too, as to how good that show is. And there's so much I've forgotten because there's just so much quotable shit in there. It kind of overshadows the rest of the show. But it's so good. Such a great show. You can see that it's the precursor to Rick and Morty in a lot of ways when you watch it. But, you've also got the Russo brothers who brought us 3 of the greatest MCU films and my personal favorite, Winter Soldier, who were also the producers on Community. And there's a lot of the heart of what made the best parts of the MCU good in Community. Also, our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, is in the chat. Ben, I'm glad you're here. Say hi to the nice folks. You need the overtime. You got all them kids. I get it, but I'm glad you're here tonight. And big shout out to you for making it. We did miss you, Ben. I accidentally called Landon the human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire last week because I missed you so bad. I just wanted to say it. And he promptly called me out on it. This week on Cutting Edge Hero, we are talking about the latest news. And it's a slow news week, but there's some good stuff in there. I sifted through all the news the internet had to give, and I think I've come up with some good pieces. But also, we will be talking about the live action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. And then on the hit list tonight, we'll be talking about our 5 favorite podcasts. And yes, it's acceptable to put Cutting Edge Hero 5 times, but please vary your list a bit just so we have more to talk about. Not that I don't love talking about myself. But before we get into all of that, Landon, you want to do some news?
Oh, always.
How about you fire those bullet points at me? Okay, welcome to the bullet points. Starting off strong with anime news. Is the show still going? Did I just lose the TV?
The show's still going. Sorry, folks. I shifted the monitor slightly, and that messed up everything on our screens.
I just can't see anything that you guys are saying, and Landon's quickly repairing it. But anyway, in anime news, if you're a fan of Dandadan, which I certainly am, that's probably one of the wildest anime I've seen in a long time. And you, like me, were thinking, especially after I think episode 5, where can I get my hands on Okarune's big gold balls? And to answer that question, in 2025, Furyu, the one of the companies behind Dandadan, is going to be releasing collectible gold balls into arcades in Japan where you can win them. And we actually have an image of that, but
It's up right now.
Oh, Landon's got it up. So we do have an image of those. There they are, the gold balls from the show. And if you were thinking that you would just gain some witchy powers by screen's back. Sweet. If you were thinking you would gain some witchy powers, be able to see some extra normal or supernatural things, I don't know if that's going to happen, but you can get a 5-meter gold ball to get your hands on, just like Turbo Granny from the series. Justin Quick in the chat. What is up, Justin? Glad you are here. Let's see. What did I miss in chat? Yes, Don to Don. But anyway, so all you have to do is travel to Japan, get your hands on a gold ball, and you can bring it back to the United States. Continuing on in anime news, Sanrio, the studio and company that brings you such adorable creatures as Hello Kitty and Kurama and or Kurumi and My Melody, will be losing the rights to Cinnamon Roll starting this year. Artist Miyuki Okumura is stepping away from Sanrio and taking her creation with her to focus on her own art and design work. And so the character Cinnamon Roll, beloved in the My Melody franchise, will no longer be available through Sanrio. So if you missed the chance to get your hands on the Cinnamon Roll Yu-Gi-Oh crossover, won't be more of that. And if you don't have enough collectible little Cinnamon Roll plushies, you better get your hands on them now because they're about to not be available anymore. And Landon finally has the monitor working so I can see. I do believe, yes, I had a picture of Cinnamon Roll there.
Yes, I threw them up.
You threw it up. Fantastic. See, it's crazy what I can and cannot see when our monitor isn't working. Jennifer Johnson says, I love Turbo Granny. Yeah, she's crazy. That bitch is crazy. Hypnosis Mike Division Rap Battle, a idol anime from Japan, hasn't really permeated the zeitgeist of American culture, but will be releasing the first of its kind, a fully interactive movie anime releasing in theaters in Japan on February 21st, 2025. It will feature 3 alternate endings to the movie, and the plot of the story will change in real time based on phone polling from the audience while the movie's playing, which is crazy.
Oh, so they're just like American Idoling that, just being like, I want this person to win.
Yeah, it puts me in mind of like the Black Mirror Bandersnatch movie where it was Choose Your Own Adventure. It's kind of going to be like that, but it's just going to be audience polling for a movie in the theater that you actually paid to go see, which I like the idea of interactive films. I think that's fun. But also if I pay my, $18 to go see this movie or whatever it is in Japan, and then I don't get to watch like the parts I wanted to see because I got outvoted and I have to go back and watch it again, I'm going to be a little upset.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Be standing up at the theater. You're all idiots.
There is actually like a sort of horror series online on YouTube that's very similar to that. In fact, I'll tell you about it later, but basically it's a bunch of prisoners and you have to vote whether or not they live, die, and are banished. They live on like this space station above like a desolate planet.
What's the name of this?
I can't remember for the life of me.
That's fine. I'm sure someone in the chat will know. Justin Aiden also in the chat. Justin Aiden, formerly of Comically Inclined fame. Glad you are here, Justin. Thank you for being a part of the show. We appreciate you. Let's let's see. Xana Parsons says, "Hi, Dad. We love you. I love you too, Xana." Pat Keaton on the ass for me. Yes, Bandersnatch from Netflix, the Black Mirror movie that was Choose Your Own Adventure is, we reported on that last week. There is one of the 4 they're keeping on Netflix, and they're dropping like 31 other Choose Your Adventure movies that I had no idea even existed on Netflix, which I think is crazy. Kempachi in the chat. What is up, brother? Glad you are here. That is everything I had for anime. Moving into comics, Diamond is introducing the Thundercats, who they recently gained the rights to the Powerpuff Girls for Free Comic Book Day on May 3rd, 2025. And here we have the cover image for that series. So the story is that the Powerpuff Girls get transported to the Thundercats world, and they lose their abilities, and Snarf is thankfully there to help them and save them, and the adventures that ensue afterwards are, I guess, going to be part of a 3-issue arc where the two meet each other.
They really had to nerf the Powerpuff Girls in order for them to be on the same footing as the Thundercats, huh?
While I immediately am angry that you said that out loud, you're probably right. You're probably very right, because other than Lion-O, there's really not a lot of like superpowers in the Thundercats. They're just really good martial artists with some cool weapons.
And like the Powerpuff Girls can level a city in like an hour.
Absolutely, they're 3 Superman level superheroes. Xana says Keaton wants me to know that his ass has been properly padded. Thank you, Xana. I appreciate you. And I'm also assuming that you're the one that did it, but it's whatever. Yes, Justin Aiden says, I wish the Tyson fight was a vote-based Bandersnatch-like adventure. It certainly would have been more entertaining. And also, I kind of wish it wouldn't have been live. I wish they would have pre-recorded the damn thing, because the amount of time I spent watching a loading screen for the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight was ridiculous. And I doubt Netflix will be live streaming any sporting events in the future, but we'll see. Let's see. Also, following DC's Absolute Power, the current line that is leading to the what is it? Absolute storyline where we're getting an alternate Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. But in the main DCU, following that, the Titans will have a new leader, and that will be Donna Troy, or Troya, or the original Wonder Girl from the comics. But she will be taking the mantle of leader of the Teen Titans, or the Titans, for the first time in her history as a Titan. Donna has had one of the weirdest histories as a comic book character. She's been mostly forgotten multiple times. She was initially Wonder Girl was actually Wonder Woman, and then they decided to make her a part of the Teen Titans. And obviously Diana can't be a teenage version of herself and an adult version of herself, so they retconned it to where Donna Troy existed, and that is literally Donna Troy's origin. And then she was Wonder Woman's little sister, and then she's been all sorts of different things. But anyway, she's finally getting the chance to lead the Titans in place of Nightwing.
All right.
Yeah. In TV and movies, Daniel Craig is joining James Gunn's DCU as Sergeant Rock. Those of you who are not familiar with Sergeant Rock, he is a comic character from I think World War II, and he is kind of like the DC version of Nick Fury. Like there was Nick Fury in the Howling Commandos around the same time that there was Sergeant Rock. Previously, Bruce Campbell, who wrote a Sergeant Rock comic for DC, wanted to have a movie created by Sam Raimi during the Spider-Man era about Sergeant Rock, and then that never came to fruition. But now James Gunn is gonna bring Sergeant Rock to screens. We're not certain if it's gonna be a movie or a TV show, but currently Deadline is reporting that it will be Daniel Craig who plays Sergeant Rock when he does make it to the big screen. Yes, indeed. I feel like Daniel Craig could be a pretty big name to throw in the hat for a DCU film, and I think that he's kind of a waste on being Sergeant Rock.
I don't know much about the Sergeant Rock character, but James Gunn does like taking like smaller characters. I mean,
look at all of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly. So maybe he could do something great with it.
He probably could do something great, but man, whenever we could get Daniel Craig playing Dr. Fate in his DCU and them do it correctly, and instead we're getting Sergeant Rock. I don't know. It's okay. I'm not upset about it. I'll wait to see it on screens, but I just think there were better options for an actor of Daniel Craig's caliber. let's see. Uh, moving along, set photos from the live action Moana movie have leaked onto Twitter, and it gives us a first image of The Rock as the live action Maui. So here is a set leak. As you can see, while The Rock himself is a very large man, he is not Maui sized. And so in order to make up the difference, they have put him in a Maui bodysuit. So The Rock is going to be wearing a big padded bodysuit in his live action outing as Maui.
Do you think that was just a huge hit to his pride?
I don't know. I mean, looking at Maui, like the Maori god from the movie, Ben said, "What do you mean? Everyone knew Rocket and Peter Quill before the movies, or so they say." Yeah, it's like everybody that thinks that Qui-Gon Jinn was the strongest Jedi before Taken was released in theaters. That's just not a thing. Like everybody's retconning that. Nobody liked Qui-Gon Jinn prior to that. But yes, they put SpongeBob blow-up arms on him. Yeah, that's true. Yes, a bodysuit. Landon, if you could put that picture up one more time just for a second.
Yes.
You can pretty clearly see that's bigger than The Rock is in real life. That is a very wide bodysuit. And it, trying to bring that character to life by a physical human being, it was going to be almost impossible no matter how big you are. And so I do think The Rock probably was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'll do it.
I don't know. Imagine you're pumped full of HGH, all right? You were raised to be like a wrestler by your dad and everything. And like you put up with all this, and at the end of the day, they still put you in a bodysuit. Like, I don't know. I think I'd be a little miffed at least.
Yeah, well, I think that the thing that the saving grace there is that The Rock probably doesn't have as big of an ego as Landon Felter does. So he's probably okay. You can't put Landon Felter in a bodysuit because he is peak human strength and ability. Miss Marbles is in the chat. What is up? Glad you're here. Thank you guys for joining the show. I appreciate you. I actually have one more piece of news, and it's not the hot news that I should be closing on, but it seemed like the best one. But for Black Friday, on Universal's website, on their Grove website, you can pick up the normally $100 4K Back to the Future Trilogy Steelbook for just $34.99. There it is in all of its stainless steel glory, The Mandalorian itself. So for those of you missing 4K Back to the Future in your life, now is the time to get your hands on it. You're welcome. Landon, what do you got in video game news?
All right, so two main points of news that I thought were worth talking about. Phil Spencer has confirmed that Xbox will be making a portable game system.
Okay.
Once again, I don't know how this is going to compare to the Switch or Valve's whatever Valve's thing is. I can't remember. But yeah, they're making their own thing.
Yeah, well, NVIDIA's got the Steam Deck, right? The Steam Deck?
Yeah, the Steam Deck. That's Valve's thing.
That's Valve's thing?
But, NVIDIA, it might be NVIDIA graphics card or what have you.
Yes. So outside of like the Switch being a functional, mobile gaming system, and then the Steam Deck making it so that you can play Steam games wherever you want to go, with PlayStation and Xbox, all you need is a backbone. Like, I don't get it. Like, what is the purpose of this handheld? Is it just going to be your Xbox games in a handheld format and then like stream to it?
I mean,
because there's already good options that exist for that.
I really have no idea. They may be making exclusive games for it. Something like a Game Boy to
we all see how that worked out for the PSP.
Yeah. I just really don't know where they're going with this.
Yeah.
I feel as though this is something where they saw Steam doing their thing and some producer or executives at Microsoft were like, hey, wait a minute. We're the PC gaming guys. We're Microsoft. They can't be doing that. And just ordered this to be done no matter what, and just didn't give much thought to it.
Yeah, it seems like I'm no expert on video games and video game consoles. I mean, I know a lot, but I don't think I'm an expert. But this does seem like it's like part of the death knell of Microsoft's game platform. Like there's already rumors that they're going to stop producing Xboxes and start just making games for PlayStation and Nintendo. And now they're going to put out a handheld in an environment where it's not needed. I mean, I may be eating my words in a couple of years, but I just don't see it. Like, I don't see the necessity for it, or that there's going to be a market share for them to step in and start selling this handheld.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page with that. I just don't know what they're really doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think this is just an order from up top, and everybody else is just like, okay, we got to do it. We got to make a mobile game console.
Yeah. The only way I see this working out is if they have some very exclusive games and the handheld does something that no other handheld does, a la what the Switch does. Because otherwise it just seems like they're blowing money on an attempt that's too late in the game. You don't see Sony, and God, knock on wood, you don't see Sony releasing handheld peripherals anymore after their loss with the PSP. They've really relied on the mobile, the ability to play their games mobilely on like your computer and your iPad and your phone as their mobile option, as opposed to putting out their own peripheral.
I really just don't know.
I guess the most important question is Skyrim going to be on it?
Skyrim's going to be on it. Skyrim's on your fridge. It would be very funny if it's the one console that Skyrim isn't on.
Yeah.
That would be very funny, especially since Microsoft owns Bethesda. And like Eric Johnson said, yeah, Switch does have the market on lock right now.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that statement. Ben says, will it cuddle me at night while I cry myself to sleep? If it won't, I will. Justin Aiden said, I just had to put down my Zune to listen to this argument. I think Microsoft is doing right. Yeah, that's Jesus Christ. God, I have missed you, Justin. Incredible. Anyway, Landon, what else you got?
Oh, ending on some funny news. French billionaire Xavier Niel.
He sounds like a French billionaire.
He is, in fact, a French billionaire and owner of a internet service provider. A COD streamer was talking shit because his internet kept lagging on him. And so this billionaire goes outside of a French supermarket, posts his location, tweets at the streamer. It said, 1v1 me. I'm right here.
Oh, no.
He kept taunting the streamer. The streamer was like, I didn't think you'd actually respond. I can't right now. I'm just, no, where are you? I'm right here. I'm out here. Where are you?
I'm ready to fight. Oh, wow.
Which is honestly amazing.
Yeah, dude. The last time a French dude picked a fight and anyone took it seriously was... That's crazy. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I wish a billionaire would call me out. Be like, yo, show up 1v1 me. Yes, let's go.
I'd be honored if I was big enough for a billionaire to call me out. Then again, I could just tweet something mean at Elon Musk. He'd probably at least block me.
He'd block you. He's not going to call you out to fight. Seen that dude? He literally bleeds gravy.
Yeah. Marbles, he did not show up. He chickened out.
He was
the streamer chickened out.
Napoleon probably. Oh, wow. Yeah. Right, Ben. That's very accurate. Are they married now?
God, I do love an enemies to lovers, but sorry, they are not married.
Hashtag Iron Man 3. I'm dying. I'm dying. That actually was the plot of Iron Man 3. Anyway. Landon, is that all the news you've got?
Yeah, I think that's everything from me.
Well, I hope that this news didn't just graze you. This has been the Bullet Points. Welcome back to the show. Spaceboy, I am confused on what I walked in on. You know, that's usually normal for you to say when Landon and I are in a room together. So that makes sense. So Landon, you know what? In this litany of let's see. That was okay. Becca said if you say the right mean thing, Elon would definitely respond. I agree with that. He'd be crying over his billions and billions of excess dollars. Anyway, so there's been a rash of live action iterations of beloved cartoons. You know, we've gotten Cinderella, and there's about to release Snow White, of course, Lion King, and now we're getting an original Mufasa movie set in the Lion King universe.
I'm feeling the aneurysm form in my brain as you list them off. Go on.
And as we learned with Terrifier 3 beating the shit out of Joker 2 at theaters, the people are really, really jonesing for original properties and not so much regurgitated properties that were previously released. And so in that vein, DreamWorks is giving us a live action of the first How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Whoa. They're taking something good and doing this with it.
And I'm not upset. It looks to me like this is just a 1-to-1 remake of How to Train Your Dragon. Like, it doesn't look like they've changed much, all the way down to the fact that Gerard Butler is reprising his role as Stoic, the father of Hiccup, and playing him in live action in a whole like Stoic outfit. Like, it's just nuts. They just brought they were like, oh, here, you're just going to play him. And I normally see these things like, you know, the Lion King thing was live action. They're all CGI animals on green screens and shit. Like, they didn't actually film any of that live action. But this is giving us a live action version of Hiccup and Stoic and all the rest of the How to Train Your Dragon characters. And then they give us a like more realistic, but almost cut directly out of the first movie. Like, they just took the animation and just made it look better of Toothless. And I am so happy about this. Like, I'm not upset about this at all. Normally I'm like, oh, great. Another, you know, Beauty and the Beast. Great. You know, but this, I'm actually excited about this one.
I don't know if it's a 1-for-1 remake of the original in live action. I think I would still prefer to just watch the original.
I am. So that's the inherent problem with these things, because the original is still enjoyable and it hasn't taken anything away from the original being good, but having two options to watch and they both be just as good, I think that's good. That's like being angry at a new Star Wars series. You're getting more Star Wars. Whatever the quality is, you're getting more Star Wars. And you're getting more How to Train Your Dragon, more options, more to view, and a live action Gerard Butler Stoic. I mean, for me, a lot of my fanfics are coming closer to reality.
I mean, it looks good. I'm not going to lie. It looks good. And if it's the same as the original, then it's going to have good writing and a good story. But if it's, like I said, if it is a 1-for-1 remake or even closer to a remake than a lot of the other live actions that feel the need to change something for the sake of being different, then we're having a regression in a different way. They are making less original content in that way.
Billy Rhodes, who has taken a hiatus for a couple of weeks, is back in the chat. Billy says, I'm not excited at all. I don't give a shit about it. And Billy, I'm not even upset at you for that being your opinion, but I do wish you enjoyed How to Train Your Dragon. Becca said Universal timed this live action to correspond with the opening of Isle of Berk at their Orlando Park Universal. I'm okay with that. I get the cross promotion and trying to make it relevant and get it in front of people so they can sell more tickets to go to their Universal Studios theme park. And I hope that the theme park is incredible because everything else at Universal theme parks is incredible. So I'm excited for that too. Justin said right on time for Universal's Epic Universe. Yes. And you know, if you guys have been to, I've only been to the Florida ones, but if you've been to the Universal Florida and seen like the Wizarding World, you know, the Diagon Alley, and then also the other one, I'm drawing a blank on it, and rode the Hogwarts Express in between them. They're adding a third park at Universal as well for Harry Potter, which I think is crazy. And then on top of that, we're getting an all new theme park down there that is Nintendo themed.
Yeah.
So just more options. And I was telling Katrina that we need to, like, every other year go to Florida and hit the theme parks. So
you'll get something new there every time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they continue this growth. You know, I hope they finally bring the Avengers campus to Florida. because I do want to go. Oh yeah, Justin Aiden said come visit me when I'm at Disney this summer. That's true. The co-founder of Comically Inclined, the show that this show spun out of, Justin Aiden is actually going to be working at Disney over this summer, and I'm really excited for him. Yes, Jennifer, there is a full Hogsmeade. Thank you, Justin. If you didn't get me, Ben would. But yes, Hogsmeade is the other theme park there, but they're actually adding a third theme park, which I think is going to be like Gringotts Bank. No, it's the hold on, it's the Ministry. It's the Ministry of Magic is going to be the third park, which I think is crazy. But anyway, I'm excited. Again, I'm reserving judgment until I've actually seen the damn thing, but the trailers look fun and Toothless looks great. Ben said, I just wish anytime someone does a live action adaptation that they would do the ugly Sonic treatment, but have the correct one also ready just so the internet can feel like they are really causing a change, and it would cause it to trend immediately. I am in the minority, I think, in that I think ugly Sonic should have gotten his day to shine.
Hard disagree.
I think that the fact that we let the trolls win, that we changed Sonic because we didn't like the one they gave us, that might have been the best version of Sonic the Hedgehog we are ever going to see. We don't know what the original intent with that was because we didn't get to see that version. We got to see the animated Sonic from when Jaleel White voiced him, cut and pasted into this movie, as opposed to giving us this new Sonic that they were working on when they dropped that trailer.
Nah, I think that whole Sonic was designed because once again, producers at what was it? Who made the Sonic movie? Okay, cool.
It's Paramount, right?
Paramount, so, yeah. I firmly believe that some producer at Paramount heard the idea of, oh, we're pitching this more so towards the adults who played Sonic as a kid rather than the actual kids playing Sonic now. So we got to make it look a bit more adult, you know? Kind of like how they had to adult up a bunch of superheroes whenever those movies started getting made.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh yeah.
Knox in the chat said no. People have strong feelings about ugly Sonic, you know?
Yeah, for good reason.
I want to see it. Release the ugly Sonic version. That's what I want. Yeah, Justin's right. Ben's right. Ugly Sonic did have his moment in the sun in the Chippendale movie. Knox says ugly Sonic is the worst. How do you know? You never got to see his movie. That's all I'm saying. But Landon is hitting on something that I speak about commonly, which is the need to take what is superheroes wear cool, bright costumes because that's what superheroes do, and try to find a real world reason for that. And oftentimes they're like really dumb. Like the reason is really, really dumb. And I always felt like it took a huge chunk out of the fun of watching a superhero film when like 25% of the movie is explaining why the fucking costume looks like the costume from the comics. Spaceboy says, I just want Wile E. Coyote versus Acme, which got scrapped. That went the way of the dodo for the Jesus Christ. That went the way of the dodo along with the Batgirl movie. And we'll never get to see the my brain is saying Nathan Fillion. It's not Brendan Fraser, Firefly, and I'm sad about that too because I love Brendan Fraser. Let's see, but anyway, that's speaking of Justin Aiden being in the chat tonight. We're talking about our 5 favorite podcasts on the hit list.
We really did talk about How to Train Your Dragon for 5 minutes and then went on tangent for 10.
I know the trailer didn't give us much. It was a teaser to begin with, and I vamp as much as I can when we need to fill a little bit of time and try to keep it entertaining for you guys. But there just wasn't much to talk about this week. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and things are slowing down. The Hollywood movie cogs are cooling off for the summer, getting ready for the post-Christmas extravaganza of new video games and toys and technology. So we're just in a dead space right now for entertainment. That's okay. because we're here for you. Billy Rhodes said Brendan Fraser was in The Whale. It's pretty much the same thing. I do want to see. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. It's on Amazon Prime. There's the Peter Dinklage and Josh. God, what is his name? Josh Brolin movie called Family with Brendan Fraser as the bad guy, where they're jewel thieves. And I've been wanting to watch that because that looks funny. But love me some Brendan Fraser. Anyway, so for the hit list this week, we are talking our 5 favorite podcasts of all time ever. Like I said, you can put Cutting Edge Hero on your list 5 times if you want. I won't be upset, but it does mean that, the content's kind of limited. But that's okay. I won't be mad at you. I'll still love you. And here, that's me patting your butt. Just you earned that. Take that home with you. Anyway, Landon, would you be so kind as to kick us off with your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is some more news. So, do you want to be told by a very hyperactive man that the world is going to shit?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah, well, this is the guy to listen to. They basically do just break down what's going on in the world. They say they're a news show, and they do cover some current events, but it's more so going into like, hey, what the fuck is going on with RFK Jr. or hey,
brainworms.
Brainworms, exactly. Or hey, what's with the male-fluencers or the man-fluencers going on out there? Or what's the deal with all these guys and them going absolutely insane? Or hey, is there an insurance bubble that's currently growing and will eventually pop and millions will be without coverage? Who knows?
You have sold me on this show so fucking hard right now.
Yeah, and they'll tell you all about this in rapid, in fast-paced, and also very energetic and also very insane. It's good.
Yeah. What was that called again?
Some more news.
Okay, I will have to check that out. We got any number 5s in the chat?
I believe Justin Aiden's number 5 is Dungeons and Dragons that I just threw up by accident.
Dungeons and Daddies?
Dungeons and Daddies.
Dungeons and Daddies. It is also on my list, so we'll talk about it whenever we get to that. But yes, that is one of the best podcasts of all time. For sure. I tell everyone that I know about it. I don't really watch podcasts. Spaceboy? Dear God.
To be fair, that does sound like a podcast name. A podcast for people who don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah, it's the Watch podcast that I was like.
Jennifer Johnson's number 5 is Crime Junkies.
Ooh. I guess, can you guys put like a little description in when you post what they are? Because like inherently, some of these I'm never going to have heard about.
Yeah. I haven't heard of Crime Junkies, so
yeah, I'm gonna get on the Google box real quick.
Yeah. Ben Stewart's number 5 is Joe Rogan.
Okay, I've never watched the Joe Rogan Experience or listened to it other than like fun clips I see on the internet every so often, but it does seem like a testosterone fueled I don't know. It's like watching Dr. Oz. Like there's a lot of advice thrown around on there that is not like researched at all. And it's just like, well, I think this is a drug you should try. But is it? But anyway, let's see. We had the number 5 Crime Junkies is a true crime, probably one of the few I listen to. Okay. There's a couple of true crime ones on my list as well.
I have one on my list.
Yeah. Crime Junkies is a weekly true crime podcast dedicated to covering the cases we just can't get out of our heads. Cool. Any other in the chat?
Yes. Knox says that they only have three other ones, so 4 and 5 will be Cutting Edge Hero.
Thank you, Knox. We appreciate you.
Yes. Space Boys number 5. I like talk nasty to me. It's just 2 friends talking about the shit they want to talk about. They are funny.
Talk nasty to me? Now I kind of want to check this out. I won't walk away from the show right now to listen to it, but it's going on my list.
And I think what I said was Justin Aiden's number one, Dungeons and Daddies.
Oh,
Or
he threw his number 1 up first.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. A lot of things are getting lost in chat because y'all are super active tonight, which
That's
we
okay.
love.
Yeah, we love it. Never stop. I see Billy's got his number 5 up there.
Yes, Billy has his number 5 up there. Billy Rhodes. Billy Rhodes, number 5.
Landon is struggling tonight.
4 Eyes and a Beard. Scott Mosier and Matt Mira. It's one of the funniest podcasts I've ever listened to. I won't spoil the best joke, but the setup is what if semen had the consistency of baby powder?
Gross. That's worse than the cinnamon challenge.
And Becca's, I guess, only entry is only podcast I'm committed to is This Podcast Will Kill You. 2 scientists explaining disease mechanisms and historical significance of diseases.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out too. Is that all of our number 5s?
I'm not even too sure. Everything got very buried. So if
Yeah.
I'm missing anything, please yell at me in chat. Just hurl the worst insults you can.
Ooh, challenge accepted.
I guess we got Justin Aiden's number 5, which is 2018 to 2020 comically inclined.
That was a good era. That was a good era for the old CI, for sure.
Yeah, before my time.
Yeah, that does predate Landon. My number 5 is a true crime podcast called Morbid, where hosts Elena and Ash take you through some of the grisliest, darkest murders in the history of the United States and other countries. They really do a great job of breaking it all down. Elena is a forensic a mortician, and she pre-podcast life, autopsied people, and so she has a firsthand knowledge to how the body works and what people go through whenever they're being murdered, tortured, slash hurt or killed. And so you get an interesting viewpoint on what these true crime situations would have been like for the victim when it was all going down. And they just do a great. They're funny. They're hilarious. It's their family. She's Elena is Ash's aunt, but they say they're sisters, and they're just great together. And they have a lot of like fun chemistry and history. So if you get a chance and you haven't watched or listened to Morbid, check it out. Highly recommend. Landon, what do you got as your number 4?
All right. My number 4 is The Worst of All Possible Worlds. It is a media discussion podcast. It's mainly 3 guys with an occasional 4th guest. 2 of them are former evangelicals, and the 3rd one is a former Catholic. And that is important because they'll often like break down various Christian media. Their biggest favorite one is Adventures in Odyssey.
Okay.
If any of you out there have heard of that. But like they'll also break down other more secular bits of media as well. And they just go through and discuss what they know about it and like why the people behind the media might have chosen to display this message, or what the writing techniques they're using, usually failing at using writing techniques because they're film and theater majors.
Yeah.
They got degrees in these things, so they know what they're talking about for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I do also want to say, before Ben makes fun of me for it, it is the weather's turning colder here, and it is officially flannel and cardigan weather for me again. So the cardigans are back. Sorry if you're not okay with that. I just like being comfy. Anyway, what else we got in chat, Landon?
Ben Stewart's number 4 is Batman Unburied. It was so good when it was coming out weekly.
Yes, Batman Unburied was incredible. It is an original story around Batman and the Batman mythos. I forget the name. Winston Duke. Winston Duke, who played M'Baku in the Black Panther movies, is the voice of Bruce Wayne Batman in this, and he does an incredible job. The cast for this was incredible. It was an all-star cast playing characters that you probably would have never thought you would see playing Batman characters. If you get a chance, look it up. It was produced by DC, and it falls in line with how good the animation side of DC is. Their podcasting side was incredible too, or is incredible too. And I cannot say enough good things about Batman Unmasked, Batman Unburied. It was so good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I'll add it to the ever-growing list.
Right? People just keep making media. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's almost like humans have this innate creativity inside of them.
I'm not upset because I'm going to keep doing it too. So I'm just saying.
Oh, no, that wasn't me complaining.
The lists just get longer, you know?
Mm-hmm. Billy Rhodes, number 4. The Casual Criminalist. The true crime channel of Simon Whistler's 25-channel YouTube empire. He does a cold reading of the script so you can see his reactions.
You know something that just occurred to me? If I just move this, can I move this? There we go. I can see the whole chat now.
Oh.
For next time.
For next time. Well, Billy, little known fact, I also do a cold reading of all these comments.
That's valid. Spaceboy said Landon still has not watched Arcane, so and Miss Marble said, glad I'm not the only one with an ever-growing list. No, it's there's too much media to keep up with, and a lot of the people that I know and love make great recommendations, so it's constantly growing faster than I can keep up with it.
Marbles, there is so much out there. People keep recommending things, and I only have so much time in the day.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You live a busy life, Mr. Felter. Looks like Eric Johnson threw number 4 up.
Yes, Eric Johnson's number 4 is Wolverine, The Longest Night.
I think I listened to this one. I know that there was the Old Man Logan one, which was really good. And that had, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the bad guy from the first Avatar movie, the big blonde dude, like military guy, is the voice of Wolverine in the Batman or the Wolverine, the Old Man Logan story. And he did a really great job. Justin Aiden said Wolverine Blue Chew. That's I guess the new Old Man Logan name. Justin never change. Yeah, so I love the Marvel did a great job too. A lot of the Marvel podcasts are really good. The Black Widow one's really good. The Wolverine ones are really good. They did the let's see, Hawkeye. They did an Old Man Hawkeye one, which was really good. I think there was another one, but anyway, someone might have it on their list, so I'll stop talking. My number 4 is Lore. Lore has been going for a very long time. It's also had an Amazon Prime television series that has spun out of it. But the podcast is myth and true crime mixed together. And it's all about the American, like the legends inside America. So like Mothman and Bigfoot and stuff like that, as well as different true crime stories. But Aaron Mahnke does a great job. He has an incredible voice. So that is voiced by Richard Armitage, I believe. Okay, so that's a different series, and that's not the Old Man Logan one. I also really like Richard Armitage. I would love to see him as a live-action Wolverine. I think, he's no Hugh Jackman, but I think he'd be fun. Jennifer Johnson says she loves the Lore TV series, and Miss Marbles said, I love cryptids. Yes, same. Give me an El Chupacabra any day of the week. Landon, what do you got for number 3?
My number 3 is The Last Podcast on the Left.
I've heard of this one.
Yes. It is a true crime / paranormal / horror history podcast. They've covered everything from BTK and Ted Bundy.
I was going to say, name another killer.
Yeah, BTK and Ted Bundy to the Black Plague and the horrible lives of the saints. To talking about more paranormal things like UFOs and psychics throughout history. There are people who, well, one guy who really wants to believe, and then 3 people who are like, we'll do research. We love research and this stuff, but we'll just go along with you, buddy.
1 Mulder, 3 Scullys.
1 Mulder, 2 Scullys.
Oh, okay. I mean, more Scullys the better. Sorry, Justin broke me. Anyway, oh, for the audio only, you're gonna have to miss that one. 2 Scullys, 1 cup. He's just rattling them off. Literally the funniest human being I know. What do we got in chat? Any number 3s dropped yet?
Knox's number 3 is Lore by Night. He talks about the World of Darkness stuff, mostly the TTRPG Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, I love Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah. Fallen Star TTRPG. Yes, I don't give enough shout outs to Fallen Star. So our friends over at Queens of Nerddom and Willie from the Smoke Shack and just that whole group over there, they do a TTRPG together. And it's called Fallen Star. And they're great. Like it's one of my favorite live play watch along podcasts. If you haven't had a chance to check it out. Strongly recommend.
That is all number 3s as of right now.
Chat's slowing down.
I complained too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, their little thumbs have gotten tired. That's okay, guys. I'm not upset. I'll do my 3, and then if you happen to throw your 3 up at the same time, we'll come back around to it. My number 3 is a long-running podcast that the story is so incredible, and it's so great. They've even released books based around the stories from the podcast. But there's been a couple of spin-offs of it. But Welcome to Night Vale. The story of a quaint little desert community and a weekly radio show or daily radio show hosted by the incredible Cecil Baldwin, talking about the day-to-day events of this crazy landlocked desert town that is in the shade of the mountains. And nobody can really decide whether the mountains really exist or not. And it's a city that, there's a dog park that no one's allowed to enter. There is a glow cloud that is floating about the city, possessing people. All hail the glow cloud. And there's there's Hiram McDaniels, who is literally a 5-headed dragon. Larry Leroy out on the edge of town. John can never remember his last name, the farmer, and the faceless old woman who secretly already lives in your house. And the voice cast is incredible for it. So the faceless old woman is actually voiced by the actress who played Matilda in the Matilda movie. And she does a great job, and she's gotten her own spinoff. But if you haven't had a chance to catch any of Welcome to Night Vale, highly recommend. Please check it out if you get a chance. It's such a great story. It's so well done. The voice cast popping in and out, the different actors that they have for it are great. So yeah, just check it out if you get a chance. John Peters. Yes, thank you, Knox. John Peters, the farmer, as well as the Angels and Old Woman Josie. And man, I just cannot, I could gush about this series forever. I love this series. But if you get a chance, highly recommend. Please check it out. Landon.
We actually got number.
We've got number 3s in the chat. Go with that first.
Billy Rhodes. Number 3 is Fat Man on Batman and Fat Man Beyond. Kevin Smith's pop culture centric podcast that usually records live at Scum and Villainy Cantina.
Usually records love.
So I see.
I love to listen to I love to listen to Kevin Smith rattle on and on and on about his pop culture obsessions and the characters that he knows and loves. He's like a more famous me, and he's pretty great. Mallrats was a huge chunk of my like teen to adult years. I had a big Kevin Smith thing going on for a while. Me and my older brother Joey did, and I kind of love Kevin Smith. So no complaints here. I will check it out. Justin Aiden says Fat Men need love too. I believe that. I believe that to be a possibility. Is that all of our number threes in the chat?
I think so. Again, if I'm missing anything, hurl insults. I'll get the message.
Justin Aiden says, honestly, I'd watch a Kevin Smith OnlyFans. You know, if his movies ever stop doing well, you may get one, but probably not. My number two is a fun Australian.
Wait, we didn't do number twos yet.
Oh, right. Well, I just did my number three. Oh, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Landon, would you give me your number two, please?
My number two is Kill James Bond.
What?
It is a podcast that breaks down first the James Bond films, then they moved on to the Jason Bourne films, then they did the Rambo films. They basically go over Euro spy films. They just went into crime season where now they're going over heists. They just did Heat. Have you ever seen Heat?
I've seen Heat, yeah.
Yeah, they just did a whole breakdown of Heat. They are 3 British trans people, just breaking it all down. They do come at it from that perspective, so that is important for the podcast. And they break it all down under what they call the SCUM spectrum. Yeah, the SCUM spectrum. It stands for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, do those old Bonds and also the modern Bonds hit those numbers high.
It did seem like you were listing off all of the key plot points of a Bond film.
Yeah. But yeah, kill James Bond.
Yeah. So I may check that one out. I'll add it to my list. We got any number twos in the chat?
Yes. Ben Stewart's number 2 is the Escape Pod podcast, talking about movies, comics, games, all that. Entertaining.
Okay, let's check it out.
Maybe Eric Johnson's number 2 is Cutting Edge Hero.
Okay, that's a great choice. That's a great choice for number 2. You can lay out a hot, steamy number 2 right there. Yes, Justin zeroed in on the inherent poo-related jokes that come with giving a number 2 for sure.
Yes. Jennifer Johnson's is also Cutting Edge Hero, I think.
Oh, guys, stop. Thanks.
And Knox's number 2 is Factually with Adam Conover. He brings on a new expert each week to discuss science, history, politics, etc. Whatever the person is an expert on.
Okay. Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything. He's been with the College Humor group for a while, and then he's part of Dropout now. So I'm sure that is a blast.
Yeah.
I feel like, is that 2 and 1? Did he forget his number 3, so he threw it up? I think that's it.
I think this is him making up for missing a number 3. Ben Stewart's number 3, the Meantime Radio. 2 guys talking, singing, goofing off. Hilarious when they just randomly start singing.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun show to listen to. Actually, I will check that out. I, for one, spontaneously burst into all sorts of musical numbers, and not on the show though. We've not. I mean, I guess I've sung on here a few times.
You hit a note when you announced number 1.
That's true. That's kind of singing. After an hour of speaking, just like nonstop though, my singing voice is not great by the time I get to that number 1.
Mm-hmm. I doubt that, but
Landon was like choking to death over there. He's like, and then just like longest silent while he's like working out a cough. It was like, it sounded like he was being an asshole, but he wasn't.
No,
he really wasn't.
It was my throat is trying to crawl out of my body. Billy Rhodes,
I can
number
stuff
2.
it back in for you. Anyway.
Ben.
I guess I'll be in Ben's office tomorrow.
Billy Rhodes, number 2. Tell him, Steve Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Johnson. Walt Flanagan of Comic Book Men, and Brian Quinn of Impractical Jokers. Sometimes Get 'em Steve Dave is on. Sometimes Sunday Jeff is on too.
That is one that has been in the periphery for me for a really long time, and I've never broken the mold into like starting to listen to it. And I will get to it eventually. Oh God, you got me in trouble, Landon.
You got yourself in trouble.
Nuh-uh.
He's watching us right now.
Yeah, is that all of our number 2s in the chat?
Yeah, I think that's all the number 2s.
My number 2 is a fun Australian podcast called Do Go On. It's got Matt Stewart, Jess Perkins, and Dave Wernicke. They are 3 comedians, and they are 3 of the funniest people you will ever meet, and they happen to all be friends in real life. And what they do is they pick a subject, and one of them has to write a book report on it. And then they present the book report to the other 2. And while they're presenting the book report, the other 2 just riff on them constantly and make it almost impossible to get through. The episodes are hilarious. One of the only podcasts where I've laughed till I cried while listening to it. They are so fucking funny. I cannot tell enough people about Do Go On. If you get a chance, check out Dagoon. They are worth, and it doesn't matter if you start at like their first episode and like start listening, or you jump in now. They're all hilarious, and it's always worth it.
I mean, they all sound pretty self-contained if it's new
They
book
are.
report every time.
Yes, they're pretty there are some callbacks to the older listeners, and that's fun too. But for the most part, you can kind of jump in anywhere with Do Go On.
Okay.
And they tour and do live shows of it as well. And hopefully one of these days they'll come to the old United States, maybe even St. Louis, and I'll get a chance to go. But here's hoping.
Here's to hoping.
Landon, are you ready to give me your number 1? Landon, your number 1, please.
Alrighty. My number 1 is Behind the Bastards.
What's that about?
It is a podcast that goes behind some of the worst people in history, some living, some not.
I know
and
some
just
of those.
Yeah, and just talks about like all the things they've done, what their childhood was like that led them up to being what they are, how they got into normally the positions of power that let them do the awful things they did, and just like dissects them and every little detail that they've done, discusses expert opinion on them and things along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you give some examples of some people they broke down?
Well, the original episodes go over like the regular, the usual suspects, Saddam
Hitler.
Hussein, Hitler,
Yeah.
Stalin, things
Okay.
along those lines. Their most recent episodes are actually about Lawrence of Arabia.
Hmm.
And like it's a 4-parter, and their first 3 episodes are all about talking about Lawrence and like what he's done, and like they have a sort of like a structure where the first half they make you feel sympathetic for the bastard and what they're going through.
Like watching
and
Penguin.
Yeah, and then the second half they just show you all the horrible shit they did and how terrible they are. And they have been doing 3 episodes of sympathetic buildup for Lawrence. So
Oh, wow.
episode 4, when that comes out tomorrow, is probably going to hit like a freight train.
Okay. I don't know. I've heard the name Lawrence of Arabia before in my life. I have no idea who he is or what he has done. So that would all be a shock to me. My middle son was like, "Mom, he hurt my ear." It only gets worse.
Yeah. I listened to an episode while wearing earbuds once, and
Justin, I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah. I was listening to the podcast while mowing the lawn, and Danny tuned out the lawnmower with his number 1.
Yeah. They come in varying degrees. Sometimes they're not that big.
Yeah.
It's all about the day, you know.
From where I'm sitting, it always seems big to me. Knox's number one. My number one was Welcome to Night Vale, but you already covered that one. Lol. 10 out of 10. Anyone who has not listened to it should. They have some really good Welcome to Night Vale books too.
I have a couple of them. Yeah, they're highly recommend. It's as far as like internet media that made it to publishing, that and Lore Olympus are both kind of up there for me. Yeah. What else we got?
Ben Stewart's number one is Cutting Edge Hero. Duh.
I can see that. That's a great choice. Those two guys, the three-ish guys that run that show, real cut-ups, but they really know what they're talking about. And I think that's the important thing. You can tell that they love the material and the subjects that they cover, and that it's not just some guys wanting to get some internet presence and have people tune in to listen to them with no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Thankfully, that's not the case on this show.
I just wish that guy that ran the cameras and shit, I'm not here for him. I wish he would just shut up already.
Honestly, he's my favorite part of the show.
I don't know what the fuck you're going on
that,
about, but
that
all right.
weird ethereal voice that just dips in and out without any kind of a camera presence.
I guess everyone's entitled to their opinion, Danny, even if they're wrong.
Yeah. What else we got?
Space Boys number one is Kill James Bond. Someone you know got me kind of super into it.
I can see that. He's gotten super into me a time or two.
Billy Rhodes number one is Date Night at Power Noodles. Haha, JK, I will think those guys died or something.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Never once.
Eric Johnson, yes, real fans, real nerds. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Coming from a real nerd, you would be the one to judge that. Justin said, honestly, 2 people is more than enough. Sometimes adding a third is podcast suicide. I've seen that. It can be tough. He is Nerd King. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. It's it's not just a fun screen handle. It's a title. Eric Johnson said, honesty and real peeps, not for vanity, although you guys are all kind of handsome. Dude, stop. We got any other number ones in the chat? Smoke Pit. Jennifer Johnson, she threw up Smoke Pit. I said Smoke Shack earlier. My brain could not form the word pit. I apologize. Yes, the Smoke Pit. If you've not checked that out, Willie and Black both are incredible. They're funny. They're a blast. Check them out if you get a chance. They're great. Yes. That all of our chat?
Yeah.
Think so?
I think that's everything in chat.
My number one has previously been mentioned by my good friend Justin Aiden, but God, I just cannot say enough good things about this show, and that is Dungeons and Daddies. You will see the moniker at the bottom, not a BDSM podcast, but it is sometimes a BDSM podcast. It is about 4 dads from our world who accidentally, while driving their kids home from a soccer game, accidentally drive off into, or no, they're driving their kids to a soccer game. While driving their children to a soccer game, accidentally drive into the Forgotten Realms and enter a world of high fantasy, where they become characters from D&D. There is Glenn Close, who is a dad rock musician, who is a terrible father. There is Henry Oakes, who is a hippy dippy munchy granola Birkenstock rocking hippie dad. These are going from memory. I don't actually have this written down. There's Daryl Wilson. He is the soccer coach dad. And then there is Ron Stampler. He is a stepdad and business card enthusiast and businessman who is a rogue. And Anthony Birch, the DM for that show. So you're going to know some of the names: Matt Arnold and Freddie Wong, the creators and writers and directors of Video Game High School. And of course, Freddie Wong, who used to own, or who, well, still does, but did Rocket Jump on YouTube for a long time. They got together and started doing a live play D&D. And Anthony Birch is one of the greatest A, writers, and B, voice actors in the history of voice acting. And he does such a great job as their DM / daddy master. And he knows how to keep it light and fun while also bringing some real feels. And I cannot believe that a live play D&D podcast got me to literally fucking laugh myself into tears and then also hit emotional points so strong that I literally cried while listening to it. And it's all just one guy doing this with his 4 friends, and it's nuts. So Anthony Birch, his sister Ashley Birch is YouTube famous. They used to have a YouTube series together. She's done a lot of stuff with Critical Role. But Anthony, he was the writer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as well as some other video games out there. It's what he does for a living. He's a writer, and he does a great job creating D&D stories and worlds and characters. There's a lot of pop culture references in it. It's very fun. Season 1, Freddie Wong plays Glenn Close. Season 2, Freddie Wong plays Taylor Swift. And those kind of jokes just continue on and on and on unto perpetuity with that series. So if you get a chance, check out Dungeons and Daddies. Cannot say enough good things about them. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Billy did throw up an alternate number 1 up here.
Okay. Give it to me.
Billy Rhodes, alternate number 1, Half-Life Histories. But Kyle Hill, although he may have gone into some trouble recently, he talks about nuclear accidents and the horrible consequences of such.
Okay.
Yeah. And Billy, going back to your original number 1.
Yeah, Landon, was there anything we forgot?
I was going to possibly throw up our podcast, Date Night at Power Noodles, but I really thought that was... hold on just one second. There we go. I was going to throw up our podcast, Date Night at Power Noodles, up here, but I thought it would just be a little egotistical to throw my stuff right up here up front for everyone to see and check out on the screen right now, Date Night at Power Noodles. And I totally won't be possibly finally getting to editing those episodes we recorded back in August, I think, even before possibly. And I totally won't be trying to post one next week at the earliest. I totally won't be promoting any of that right now. This is just me informing you of such. Anyway.
Yeah, good thing you didn't do any of that, Landon. I think that would have been too much.
Good thing I did none of that. That would have been very egregious and too in your face, I think.
Would it be a bridge too far, you think?
I truly do think so. My ego is not that big.
Yeah. I am trying to find our list of hit list topics because we also need to work up a new list. So, guys, if you have ideas for hit list topics, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll add them to the list because we're getting to the bottom of the one we generated last time.
Yeah. If you wanted something of a generic one, I thought your favorite character tropes.
Okay, let's do character tropes. You know what? That's gonna be next week. So next week for our pre-Thanksgiving episode, will you be here next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should be, I think.
Because it's with Thursday's Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay,
Still
cool.
gonna be here.
So next week for your pre-Thanksgiving appetizer and a amuse-bouche, if you will, you can tune in and listen to us talk about our top 5 character tropes.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other ideas, feel free to throw them in the chat, and we'll add them to the list for our shows unto the future. But for this week, this has been the hit list. Welcome back to the show, guys. Don't be afraid to throw your hit list ideas up there. That being said, I see top 5 animals by Spaceboy. Spaceboy, thank you.
Top 5 dogs.
That to the list. Okay, 5 dogs. Should I put dogs and then also dogs, DAWGS?
I'd be down for that.
Thanksgiving dinner topics. That would be something.
So politics, how are y'all feeling about the election?
Yeah, no shit. Nothing like picking a fight with your racist grandma. Top 5 Landon moments. Oh, I kind of like that. It's on the list. It's on the list. Anybody else got anything they want to throw on there? Let me know. Thanksgiving food. That seems really topical, and that's not what we're doing next week, but I'm going to put it on here.
5 Christmas movies, 5 best
Oh, Christmas
presents.
movies is good. That's good, especially with Christmas coming up. Be weird in the summer, but
Have you never celebrated Christmas in July, Danny?
I have celebrated Christmas at some of the weirdest fucking months ever because it's so hard to get my family together.
I believe that.
Top 5 favorite children. I will not be doing that list, Justin. Thank you, though. Could you imagine? Especially if you're number 5. Whoa. My dad has 5 kids and he did a list of who's his favorite. With reasons.
I used to be in 3. Now they got bumped down to 5.
Yeah. Top 5 sexiest meals. Oh, I like that.
Pork steak. Hell yeah.
All right, guys, feel free to keep throwing them up there, but we're gonna go ahead and end the show. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. We could not. Funny thing about Danny's list is that one of his actual kids isn't making the list because I'm at number 1. Wow, yeah, that's I'm not gonna confirm nor deny that, but definitely a possibility. Top 5 icks. Okay, I'm gonna put icks on the list. What was the other one? Top 5 reasons not to.
Top 5 excuses to get out of the holidays.
Okay, excuses to get out of the holidays. Yes. So thank you guys so much. The show was great. Thank you for being in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. We could not do the show without you guys. You're awesome. Landon, you have anything you want to say to the nice folks?
As always, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us, talking in the chat, and just being here and keeping us company.
Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you for doing all of that for us. You guys have been great, and we have been Cutting Edge Heroes. We'll see you next week.
See y'all.